Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another Chart Nerd TA video. We're going to be diving into Bitcoin and having a look at potentially where we're looking to find support, guys. It's been a crazy couple of days. Crypto, what can we say? Expect the unexpected, volatility, craziness, just absolute carnage. Really and truly, and I still think there's more bad news to come out. Now, for anybody that is involved in the FTX situation, I do, condolences to you guys. Incredibly crazy situation, to say the least, and it's kind of ironic, not digging off too far here because I'm specifically here for TA, but it's kind of ironic that, FTX presented itself as this platform that was going to deliver or be the forefront in the delivery of regulation within the market, and it's insane. It's insane. I think it does sort of indicate a real high level of manipulation here, and it's just completely and utterly crazy. So condolences to you guys, but getting into this video here, what I wanted to look at today for us is potentially where Bitcoin could be finding support, what sort of scenarios we are in, what sort of move is this. This is very capitulative. Okay, if you look at this candle here, it's kind of following the sequence if we go back in regards to these large corrective bear market or even so a black swan event, where you're getting this large sort of drawdown. Is this potentially where Bitcoin's going to hold? But I don't think so. I really don't. And key indicators are pointing to that. So first off, you've lost this low. Okay, you've lost this 17k low. You can see that we was holding this here, looking for this ascending level of support, sort of coiling up, getting this push towards the 20. And on the weekly time frame, this 20 EMA has just acted as resistance, and with all the news, just bolted us down, and we've lost key support that we've been holding since June. Okay, so we've been holding it for a good few months, and now all that sort of hope is out the windows. I think there's a lot of fear, a lot of depression, and a lot of negativity in the space. There's a lot of FUD. Okay, a lot of FUD going around, and it's very normal to see that during these times for Bitcoin. But again, without it's very hard to see this, but without this volatility, without these events that are just so surprising and shocking, it wouldn't be crypto. It really wouldn't, and if you are here in the space and you intend to stay, do get used to events like these, especially with big institutions, banks, and everything going on. There's going to be chaos in these markets. Okay, until regulation is clear and there's a lot of clarity, there's going to be chaos in these markets. But we can still look at data, we can still look at on-chain analysis, we can still look at just ways to kind of predict where potentially the market may find some sort of support, where it if it loses that support, where it could go down further, where it could just all we're here to do is monitor the market and look at our best chances here and just try and get some sort of swing around what's going on. So anyways, enough of my waffling, let's dive into some TA. So straight off the back, I'm going to get into this and explain to you my targets currently for Bitcoin do sit at 14k at the bare minimum. I don't think this is the low. I do think there's more capitulation coming, especially if we are experiencing some sort of event like a black swan in regards to this FTX case, and at the same time, as I've mentioned, you do start to get these when you coil up. If you notice here, okay, it's not exactly the same, but you had the horizontal level of support here, okay, and you also had this depleting level of resistance, just as an example. If you look right here at this 17k, you had this horizontal level of support. Okay, you had this depleting resistance. We was creating a very sort of similar pattern where we was putting lower highs, holding support. Right here, you've put in lower highs, holding support. You've ran into this 20 weekly, just like you ran into the 20 weekly here. Okay, and that's it. Shut yourself. Right now, you're shitting yourself. Okay, so you're doing something very. Excuse my French. I do apologize. Excuse my French. We are experiencing something very similar to that last bit of capitulation or leg down for Bitcoin. Now, if you can see from this level of support here, when we lost this support back in 2018, you can see Bitcoin came down a further 48% when it lost that support. So just as an experiment, okay, this does't take me to my 14k targets that I have, but just as an experiment, from that low, if Bitcoin was to go down 48%, you're looking at something like a 9-10k Bitcoin, okay, and coming back down, all the way back down to these support levels here. So just looking at that, is scary in itself. But For something like that to happen, we would have to fall through other key levels of support, and the ones that I'm looking at right now are this level of support here, where it's previous resistance. Okay, and once you started to coil up, you had the black swan, started to get back above the EMAs, you broke out, and you didn't look back since. Okay, so potentially since breaking out of this resistance, you haven't actually come back down to back test it for support. Okay, and retest that as support. So unless Bitcoin literally starts to, I don't think this is going to happen, come up and start to reverse everything that's going on right now, I can't help but think that this local high here is where Bitcoin is potentially trying to get to. Okay, because we was holding this previous 2018 bull market high back in, this is what we was holding right here, the 17k roughly. You can see that it ties up this price here, ties up with this high. Okay, and we've lost that. Okay, we've lost that foundational support, lost monthly support. So the next area for me, just straight off the back, is looking at this top here. Okay, and this sits at 13.8k, so just shy of 14k. And at the same time, again, if you was to look at this as a descending triangle, you know, we've got to look at this fib here, because this Fibonacci is very important. I'm going to get this. Let me get that pattern off for now, actually. But this fib is extremely important. So you've got this 25k top. Okay, a kind of local resistance point for Bitcoin that we was trying to, you can see we was coming back down here trying to get back up to it. Okay, but we failed. So what's happened is you was retracing to the 17.5k. And now if you look here as well, you can see that we lost the one fib. Okay, we lost the one fib. And what's happened now after losing that one fib is we've literally capitulated down to the 1272 at 15942. You can see you've actually wicked lower than that price. Okay, we did come down to a price of around 15.6k, but the candle is, you know, the body of the candle is drawing up a little bit. On the smaller time frames, you are getting a bit of a bounce, but I do think you're going to come into resistance. And if you was to do something where you held support here, I do think this previous support could turn into resistance here, and this is where you could see the 1272 get lost and fall down to the 1618 target at 14k. So that's another point of confluence that kind of points towards where Bitcoin wants to head towards. Okay, now if we look at sizes of candles as well, this is another thing I like to look at. Okay, if you look at this black swan event here, this candle alone, this one weekly candle capitulated 53%. This candle here, this large bodied candle, capitulated 37%. You know, there's large corrective candles. This isn't something out of the complete blue. We have seen pullbacks of larger sizes like this, and they normally tend to typically end towards to come into to play towards the end of a bear market. So what have we been in for the past year? A bear market. You got to consider, guys, okay, that these capitulation events, plus all this news, plus everything, a collective fireball is just basically sending everything down. Okay, and the market is going to flush 99% of the market. Don't get me wrong, I was hopeful, you know, we was holding lovely support. I was hopeful, you know, and I still have my predictions of prices on certain altcoins that I've covered going to, you know, redonkulous prices. Okay, look at the tech, forget about the price action for a while. Okay, but look at the tech. Again, I'm just losing myself here. I do apologize. But 14k, just getting back into this, 14k is my target. Okay, at a minimum. Because you came, okay, from this high, you came to this low, you ran up, okay, so this is where you retraced 25k. At this point, you came back down, you formed a higher low, but you came up and ran into the 050. And at the 050, you got rejected. Okay, so this is something where you've come down, you've come up to the you come up to a high, come back, tried to come up to the 050, rejected. You basically created a reversal wave. A reversal wave basically played out. You came down, you tried to get out of the woods, okay, but instead you've come down and you've basically lost. You've lost it. Yeah, so for me, guys, if you start to close below 15.9k, do look for the 14k. Again, giving confluence coming back to this high, as you've lost this previous high for Bitcoin in the last few years. And again, if we was to do something like that and do coil up, okay, and do reach that level, I think you will have extreme overextension here from these EMAs, a larger gap between the EMAs. The price action would be in the floor. At this point, I would expect some sort of relief, at least back up into previous support, looking to turn into resistance, or we start to consolidate around a sort of range for a while before looking to then break out and resume the bull in 2023, 2024, wherever it may be. Who knows? This is crypto. It's very hard to predict, but it is what it is, guys, and I'm all here for it. So that's my target. It's a little update for you today. Not too much going on. Trying to keep it basic and sweet. I do think there's potential further downside. 14k is where I'm looking for. Take care, guys. enjoy the ride. Welcome to crypto. All the best.